very happy to introduce Professor Vasa. Like Varun, she is also an alumnus of our department, and she has several awards and honors to her credit. And it is very difficult for me to read out all this. Latest being, I think, the DST Nano Mission Award, and also she has the Homi Bhabha Fellowship. Her field of research is mostly light matter interaction and ultra fast phenomena, ultra fast sciences. In fact, even she has developed a new course named Ultra Fast Sciences very recently. It's a very popular course. So this work also, I understand that is related to the light matter interaction. So I don't want to take too much of time. So over to Parinda.
So, hello, I hope you can hear and see the screen.
Yes, we can.
So good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Professor Suresh, for the kind introduction. I also thank IRCC for this recognition. So in today's talk, I will be briefly mentioning what my research group has been working on in last 10 years since the time I joined IIT. The focus is mainly on the work that has received the recognition. So as we all know, light matter interactions form a very important part of our life. We are familiar with a lot of this interaction. And the first theory that explained most of these very satisfactorily was the Maxwell's equations. And along with this Maxwell equation, you need one more aspect to explain the optical response of the materials, and that was provided by Lorentz, for which he also received Nobel Prize. So he explained that the optical response can be very well described if you consider an emitter as a force damped harmonic oscillator. And this is a very satisfactory model which explains a lot of interactions like scattering, refraction, reflection, etc. Also, it is applicable over a very wide range of wavelengths. So along with Maxwell's equations and Lorentz model, one can really explain most of the interactions that we are familiar with. However, one elementary interaction that is not explained satisfactorily in this model, in the sense that one has to just put it by hand. There is no physical explanation for why it occurs, is spontaneous emission. That is emitter that has been put in excited state by providing energy in any form, relaxes back to the ground state by emitting photon. So this is a process of spontaneous emission. That is the origin of this spontaneous emission, or why this spontaneous emission occurs, is not very well explained in this model. Now, to explain this, one has to really go wait till the development of quantum optics. Interestingly, quantum optics is able to explain why the spontaneous emission occurs, and that is considering the surrounding. So quantum optics considers surrounding also as a combination of large number of oscillators, and the emitter couples to this large number of oscillators, and by this coupling it is able to give out the energy as a in the form of photon. So this is the explanation of spontaneous emission in quantum optics, which is the theory that is available now. Now, interestingly, in this theory, the spontaneous emission is not only then the property of the emitter, but it also involves the properties of the surrounding. So this means that by changing the surrounding, one can change this rate of spontaneous emission. One can either enhance spontaneous emission, or one can either suppress spontaneous emission, or even more interestingly, as we know, spontaneous emission is an irreversible process. Even one can make it reversible. So how to go about it? Now, the emitter is the same. So the way it has to be done is by changing the surrounding, or in technical terms, by modifying the vacuum fluctuations. So this is very, very nicely done in a resonator. So the simplest example of resonator is just two mirrors. Okay. So in this configuration, since only certain wavelengths are permitted because of the constructive and destructive interference, it allows it changes the surrounding so as to either enhance the emission, or to suppress the emission based on these interference condition. Now, over the period of time, with the development of technology, lot of different resonators have been demonstrated. Here, to make the effect stronger and stronger, one has to have a higher and higher Q factor, or that means the higher and higher reflectivity at the resonance wavelength, and no emission are permitted at other wavelengths. However, so in this model, one can assume that the emitter is one oscillator, damped harmonic oscillator, as suggested by Lorentz more than 100 years back. But resonator also is another damped harmonic oscillator, because it is like emitter, it is also characterized by a resonance wavelength and damping time and the amplitude. So the light matter interaction and then should be able be represented by this coupled oscillator. So the kind of experiment that we all have performed in high school or in undergraduates, that there are two oscillators which are coupled by some coupling. If they are mechanical oscillator, then they are coupled by a spring constant of the string. But if they are electromagnetic oscillators, then they are coupled by exchange of the energy in terms of photons. So this energy or the coupling energy depends on the since one of them we are assuming is a resonator, it is the field or the enhancement of the field in the resonator, and another one is the dipole moment of the emitter. So by this product, one can say whether from the strength of this product, one can say whether we are in weak or strong coupling regime. In this talk, I will only be concentrating on the strong coupling regime. Now, for the resonators that we use are based on metal nanostructures. So the metal nanostructures have a unique property that they support a combination of light and electron plasma modes at the interface, and these can be very strongly confined, so that even at a visible energies of couple of electron volt, one can get extremely short wavelengths on the scale of X-rays, so that you will be able to pack much more energy than you would be able to do just with optical excitations. So the situation is that if you take a very small hole on the scale of only few nanometers, you know that the wavelength of light is much larger than that, and then one cannot pass light effectively through such a small hole because of diffraction. However, if these holes are made in metal film and certain geometrical parameters are matched, then it allows excitation of surface plasmon polariton, and one can effectively transmit the electromagnetic energy through such a small hole in form of these surface plasmon polariton. So it is like passing an elephant through a needle hole. However, that is permitted because of a very high concentration of free electrons in metals. So we use various geometries of such metal nanostructures in terms of grating or thin films, and then under certain excitation conditions of angle and polarization, one can see that the metal, or here gold, which has very high reflectivity, the reflectivity suddenly goes down. So this happens because now the energy is stored on the surface in terms of these surface waves or surface plasmon polaritons. Now this very strong confinement enables enhancement in light matter interaction, or one is able to reach strong coupling even at room temperature. These kind of strong coupling earlier were observed with atoms and semiconductor microcavities. However, since the coupling energies were much smaller than the thermal energies, one had to go to extremely low temperatures of millikelvin and nanokelvin to observe these effects. But now, because of this field confinement of surface plasmon polaritons, one can see them even at room temperature, and one can see that the coupling strengths are on hundreds of millielectron volt, which is much larger than the thermal energies. So the way to investigate is to have any metal structure which is coated by the molecules of interest. Here we have chosen chlorophyll molecules. And then if one performs angle resolved reflectivity, then one sees that when the surface plasmon polariton and the emitters are both in resonance, it is just like a coupled oscillator or coupled pendula that we discussed, that it splits into two modes which are separated from each other. They are here, they are in resonance, but because of coupling they get separated, and one sees a very distinct anti-crossing in the dispersion relation. Now, this also means that these modes that one is seeing here is a combination of molecular excitation as well as the surface plasmon polariton, and they share the common properties which are very different from the molecular properties or from the properties of surface plasmon polaritons. Also, one can uh, adjust the mixing between these two resonances by just simply changing the angle. So this opens up a large range of possibilities in studying quantum optics, quantum optical phenomena, particularly at room temperature. One does not need any to go to low temperature, and also possibility of making very interesting and exciting photonic devices. For one example that I would show, the chlorophyll excitation lives fairly long on a scale of several picoseconds. So that is what here it is shown here. But when one makes this combined mode with surface plasmon polariton, since the surface plasmon polariton has an extremely short lifetime, one sees that the combined mode also has a very short lifetime. So this gives another tool or a technique to control the emission of chlorophyll molecules. Now, this could be very useful in developing, though we have used this system as a prototype, this technique could be useful in developing light harvesting systems or organic photovoltaic systems, where one could suppress the emission or the recombination of electron and hole by emitting light, and the charge carriers are available for generation of energy. So we
Last
also
two
see
minutes.
similar changes in photoluminescence spectrum.
Last 2 minutes, Professor Vasa.
Yeah, yeah. Where we see the very strong effect of this coupled mode or the hybrid mode formation. Now, earlier, so far we discussed all these experiments in frequency domain, where we were measuring the changes in the emission spectrum or the absorption spectrum. But however, a true test of coupling is to see this transfer of energy from one oscillator to another. So here so that if you just give energy to one oscillator, after some time the energy flows to the second one, and then it flows back, and so there is a back and forth transfer of energy because of the coupling. Now here this occurs on a time scale of seconds, so that one can see it easily. But in optical system, this occurs on extremely short time scale on femtosecond. So one needs a very special type of short pulse laser to investigate this kind of phenomena. And that is what we succeeded in doing. So here one sees this, the oscillating energy between the surface plasmon polariton and the exciton that one sees as these oscillations in the transient reflectivity on an extremely fast time scale. So this shows that these kind of hybrid devices, even though the emitter has a very long lifetime, can be used to make very fast response time quantum optical devices. Now, uh, uh, at the moment and in near future, we want to take this work further. So we want to study the what are the physical and particularly chemical properties of these coupled modes are. Can they be used for changing the rate of chemical reactions, particularly those involving light? So can it be used as a photocatalyst, and also making devices which are extremely efficient and operate on just a few photon uh, energies. So this is the paper that has been received the recognition. It is describing the strong and weak coupling regimes between the surface plasmon polaritons and emitters, and what are the future directions this research can take. So that is the new aspect of this perspective that has been published in ACS Photonics. Some of them, I mean, this paper was published in 2018, but some of them, some of these aspects are now being realized. So I also thank my collaborator for active participation in publishing this perspective article. And I thank my present as well as former group members and collaborators, as well as funding agencies for giving me an opportunity to explore such an exciting field of research. Thank you.